everyone. I just finished Death's Door, so let's review it. So, Death's Door was developed by Acid Nerve, and that is a two-person development team. And yes, I just said only two people were the developers of this game. And after you play it, you will be just as amazed as I am by this phenomenal feat from two people. The art style is beautiful. The combat is engaging. It's difficult, but it's fair. Let's see here. The soundtrack is really cute. The story is not the star of the show, but the story is quippy. The story is cool. You want to know what's happening. There is enough of a story there to keep you engrossed in it. But this is a really great podcast slash, throw some music on in the background game. I never did do it, even though I really found myself wanting to grab an album and throw it on the record player quite a number of times, just because with the way that this game does its combat and does its story, you're not missing anything. We just did the review for Guardians, and Guardians is a game where you're always having people talk to you, so you don't really want to have any noise in the background so you don't miss anything. Death's Door is not like that. When the story beats do happen, it's conveyed to you through text on the bottom of the screen. And then other than that, you're just kind of putting things together by the environment and what you're seeing as you go through it, or the conversations you have with the bosses throughout the game. And so this game is very boss-driven. I mentioned earlier it's a Souls-style game. Now, I'll admit, I have never yet taken the time to dive fully into the Souls games. I know it hurts some of my credibility. It's not from a lack of desire. It's just, working full-time, having other stuff happening in life. It's been really hard for me to find the time that I need to truly learn a Souls game and then, stay consistent enough with it that I'm not forgetting the nuances, the little niches that I need, etc. So, Death's Door is more in that line, but it's a much smaller experience. We're not going to have these big hour-long boss fights or anything like that. Speaking of the art style, in this game is beautiful. It's very Breath of the Wild-esque, but the colors have a darker tone to them. And I don't mean ambiance dark or oh, we're sad or anything like that. I just mean literally light versus dark, just darker in tone. But otherwise, you will see a lot of Breath of the Wild-esque features in the character models, the environment, etc. in this game. So, this game. The combat. The combat is the star of the show in this game. The story beats are there, but the combat are what you come to this game for. Now, this game, you got a top-down camera, so, it's not going to be, it's not going to be a real, true Soul-style experience in that sense where you're looking at it from the third-person view. You're down over the top. So, rolling. You got to roll. This game is all about the roll, at least for me. At least for me, this game is all about the roll. Master the roll and be patient. There were a few times where I would just be buzzing along and I'd had a 2-3 hour session going. And then I would I don't even know why. I would tell myself not to do this, but for whatever reason, I'd be like, okay, I'm getting a little antsy, right? I'm ready to just go in and just hack and slash my way through. And as soon as I did that, you get in a room with 2 or 3 of the little smaller enemies. They're not that difficult, but I just decided I wanted to hack and slash, and they kick my ass, right? You just be patient. Roll, and then roll back in, do an attack, roll back out, and wait. Now, you do get skills. There's a couple different skills in this game. You got a fire skill, you have a bow. I'll leave a couple others for later on. I don't want to, spoil anything because it does help with some environmental puzzles. There's not any, big, obvious puzzles going on in this game that are, key. But they do allow you to unlock orbs with souls. So this game does literally have a souls mechanic where you gain souls either from killing enemies, or there'll be orbs worth 100 that you can find throughout, and that's where the puzzles come in a lot of the time. So now on that note, though, it's not like the Souls Styles games where if you die, you have to go back, retrieve your souls or anything like that. If you die, you keep all the souls that you had. Now, one of the neat mechanics of this game is called Death's Door. So there are doors that you unlock as you go through the story. And now, anytime you find a door, you can go into the door, and you can upgrade, you could use your souls, you can upgrade some skills, or if you've unlocked a few doors and you don't want to be in the area that you're just in anymore, it's difficult, or you unlocked a new skill and you wanted to go try it out because you realized that there was somewhere that you could use that skill to unlock a new puzzle in one of the other areas, then you go back and you can go back and forth between those doors anytime you want. If you die, you're going to get spawned back at whatever the closest door to where you just died was. Now, sometimes that's really close. Other times you got to backtrack a little bit. One nice thing that the game does is it does allow you to unlock shortcuts after you've progressed through the level, so that you can go, choose the door, you go back through it, and then you hit that shortcut, so you're not having to completely backtrack through a level where you got stuck and died at, right? Okay. So, where are we at now? The bosses. There are 4 main bosses, and then there are 4 side bosses. The side bosses are not necessary, though they will, once you beat them, make the game a little bit easier. So every side boss is who you have to defeat in order to upgrade your abilities and your magic as you earn them throughout the game. Now, I will say, I got stuck at one point because it was clear I needed to use a magic, and I thought that it was something that I had missed on the map, and that is not the case. You will unlock all of your magic spells one at a time right before you attack your next boss. And you'll know when it happens. So don't be worried when you're going through and you're getting frustrated like I did. Like, oh, I can't unlock this area. Why can't I? The issue is that you have not gotten that magic ability yet. And you will as you get towards your next boss. So, the bosses. The bosses are really cool. They're all very unique. They all have a very unique set of skills. Their art design is all really beautiful. They're all funny. They got little jokes and quips for all of them. One of the things I do appreciate the way the story is told in this game is the quippiness of it, right? So, and each boss, they're manageable. They're difficult, but they're manageable. Obviously, the toughest boss was the last boss because he suck in probably isn't the right way to say. He embodies skills from each of the previous bosses and then, of course, adds his own. So that is, that's just something you got to bear with. That's the boss I spent the most time on. And actually, the boss I spent the second most time on was one of those side bosses to upgrade my abilities. That was one of that side boss is one of the toughest ones in the game. But definitely the toughest is the final boss. But what made it tough was that you just had to execute the things that you need to do perfectly. Where I was making mistakes, where I was dying, was I just wasn't paying attention, or I slipped, or I got myself backed into a corner, and then, boom, I died. It was my own fault. I knew what I was doing wrong. At one point, I was, looking stuff up. I was like, I don't even know why I'm looking stuff up. I know I'm doing wrong. I've just got to push through it, right? So, but anyway, Death's Door, it's on Game Pass. Go check it out. You definitely want to take at least a few minutes to try it. I've been hearing on Kind of Funny Games Daily and XCast, Paris Lilly was talking about it. He was gushing about Death's Door all last year, and I didn't buy it because it didn't sound like my type of game because I haven't played Souls games before. And so I kept waiting, hoping it was going to come to Game Pass, and surely enough, it did, and I'm so glad that I decided to try it out. Looking back on it now, paying the $20, which I believe is the base price, I totally would have been worth it. Going back, I would do it again. I would go ahead and buy it sooner just so that I could have played it last year, but it's worth taking the time with it being on Game Pass. You're already paying your monthly subscription. Basically get the game free now. Go check it out. Say it took me about 10 hours to complete all of the main content. Now, that's the 4 main bosses and doing the 4 side bosses within that. There is a little bit of late game content that I've been kind of messing around with, but in order to get just the full feature of the game, the part that you just absolutely need to play, is going to take 8 to 10 hours. Now, if you're really good, you're a better gamer than me, then, do it in 8 hours. Good for you, right? So, y'all go play Death's Door. Check it out. It's on Game Pass. It's a ton of fun. And y'all let me know what you think. Like the video, subscribe, and y'all have a nice day.